Hello and welcome back to Angular 2 Masterclass with Alejandro Rangel. In this section we will talk about styles. So far we have been coding and we can get the weather from the user input, right? So the business logic is starting to make sense in our project, but it's ugly, so our clients won't like it. So in this exercise, we will apply basic CSS to make this prettier, so everybody will be impressed. Wow, how cool, Angular 2. So yes, let's apply some CSS. The idea, it's to have a better design. We will apply directly CSS to our component. This CSS will be isolated from the rest of the application and it won't overlap with the global CSS. This is awesome. It's simple, the concept. So one CSS per component. So the CSS that applies to this particular component will be isolated from the rest, but this doesn't mean that we can have a global reset or a main.css that has CSS for everything, for the full styling of the application, and both can live together. And this is awesome because in many projects that I have worked, we end having like login.css, registration.css, and so on. And now we can have all this logic inside our component, and this is perfect because then it's isolated and it makes more sense. So I'm a super fan of CSS and I'm excited with this feature. So let's see how can we achieve this. Yes, so for our project, this is nothing related with Angular at all, but we will do a small reset. Yes, so we can import the reset.css if you already have it. In our case, just to keep the example simple, we will just put the tag style and reset the body and reset the unordered list. Okay, we will do this later on with WebStorm. In our app component, we will refactor a little bit the template. So now we will have a header part. This is where we will say, okay, this is a weather app, this is the title of our project, and then we will have a content area, notice the class content, and this is where we will put the input and all the unordered list with the weather of the cities. Take a look later on, slowly, from this slide, so you can see that we have a class weather card also. This is what will style every row containing the weather, the class content, as I mentioned before, and the header. Okay. So this is a nice part of Angular 2. So every component can have their own style, and as you can see here, it's just a property in the decorator that is named styles. Then you pass an array, and this array will have all styling that we want to apply to this particular component. I want to recap and emphasize that this CSS that is here will be available only for this component. Nobody else will be able to use this CSS, okay? So as you can see here, we have header h1. So this is a styling for the header from the template. Then we have the content. We put padding of 10 pixels. Then we have the input. And finally, we have the weather card. Okay. Oh, but then we have really long CSS inside our components. That I don't like it, right? That's what you could think about right now. So what we did before was inline CSS, but yes, we can do external CSS also. This is another option. It's really powerful. And also, if you like SAS, you can generate the CSS from with the compiler and then just point to the final CSS generated class. So how do we do this? Instead of using the styles property and then pass the array, you can use the style URL, and then this should point This should contain the array of styles that you want to apply to the component. And the nice part is that it's not limited just to one CSS. It could be several. In this case, we're pointing to app, to the folder app, and then app.component.css. Okay. So let's go to the real example. Let's code a little bit this. Okay. So as we said, the first part that we were going to do is a small reset, right? So we come to the index and let's put it here. I know this is not a good practice. You are thinking also that probably. So yeah, so you can put here a link with the reset.css and put the CSS there. But I want to keep it simple. I don't want to overload of files and so on. So this is a basic reset that we have in the application. Yeah. So let's go to the component. And as we said, we are going to do a little bit of refactoring from the template. Let's copy from here. So it's a little bit more organized. Remove the indentation. Okay, so we haven't changed anything. Just we have the header, the content. This is not properly indented. Yeah, now. Okay, good. And finally, the last step of this part, it's going to be apply the CSS. So as I mentioned, here we do comma, and we apply the styles property. All these will apply to our component. So feel free later to check class by class what we have there. So we save this, we go to the browser, and let's see what the final result of this. I will close this window. Oh, nice. So this is getting prettier, right? Yeah, so we have the header, we have the input, so we are almost there. Let's do something else. Let's search for London. Nice, much better, right? We are getting there. So imagine in the future, oh yeah, we want to change the component. We can do cc_f0. We generate this again. So it's compiling. Yeah. So we have a different style, right? Okay. Let's go back. So this is a way that we can apply CSS. Remember, we have inline. This is an inline CSS, or we can use a style URL and point to external CSS file, and it's also valid. So you can choose any of them. So see you in the next video.